been busy, but the folks here in Tombstone retrieved his body and brought him back to Boot Hill to be buried with his friends and family. On the rise of the OK Corral. That's where they say that famous gunfight happened, but it did not. The only thing that happened there was Billy Claiborne ran through it to get away from the gunfight. October 26, 1881, 2:30 in the afternoon on the right-hand side of the coach. At the back of the city park, you'll see that telegraph pole. That is where that 30-foot long alleyway was. Now the gunfight only took up the first 8 feet of the alley. 30 seconds of gunplay, 36 shots fired, 3 cowboys lay dead. On the right is High Planet Haunted Hotel. That was the Occidental. That's where the Urchins and the Cowboys had that all-night poker game. The one they say started that famous gunfight. On the right is the Red Buffalo Trading Company. That was known as the Gamble and Hatch Leader. Morganer, Wider, were in there playing a game of pool the night before Wyatt's birthday, when an outlaw named Frank Steelwell stepped up to the back door. That was the site of our first major fire, known as the Artettina Saloon. What happened there was 2 bartenders was rolling a sour barrel of whiskey out the front door. While checking the level and the content of that barrel, one of them fellas had a lit scar's mouth. Guns in the air. Well, that's when Fred White jumped in amongst them and said, boys, you know better than this. There's no discharging firearms in the city limits. Hand them over. Well, when Curly Bill handed his pistol over, he fumbled and it went off, shooting Fred White in the groin. Fred died 2 days later of an agonizing death because of that gunshot wound. Though on his deathbed, he did tell the authorities Curly Bill did not mean to do it. The marshal here. He never was. Time during that famous gunfight. On the left there is the Oriental Saloon. That's where the Earps gained control of the faro table. Now, originally he was leaving the Oriental Saloon on his nightly rounds. Across the street was the Gold Digger Brewery and shot rang out from the right-hand side of the coast. The second level of that building, which the top floor is still under construction as Washington Water Company. Now that shot come from a double-barrel 10-gauge shotgun and it struck Virgil in the left arm. That was a serious injury to Virgil. Now Doc Goodfellow, he went to working on him. He told me, he says, Virgil, I got bad news. I'm going to have to cut your arm off. Well, Virgil pledged him to ask him not to do it, to do what he could to save what's left of that arm. Now, reluctantly, Doc Goodfellow agreed. 2 hours later, he pulled 4 inches of bone out of that arm and all that buckshot. Well, he stitched him up, sent him on his way.
Super fun this time is, and I've been really enjoying walking around. The carriage ride was amazing. I highly suggest you do a carriage ride while you're in Tombstone if you decide to come visit Tombstone, Arizona, USA. Simply because the one thing that I kept thinking as we're driving around, even though I know it's built to last, it might not have been like a wooden carriage back in the day, it was, I don't know if you could hear it, and I think that's one of the things I like to hear is how it sounded, because I can't imagine, I mean, I was really trying to imagine what was it like to travel this for months and months, like, or weeks on weeks from one town to the next. It was just really, that's really why I wanted to do it, because it's interesting to just kind of think about how things were and how challenging life must have been. Please don't please remember to subscribe and follow if you love art and gardening and healthy living. I do consider a lot of this to be healthy living as far as getting out and meeting people, exploring your environment. I thought this was hilarious, so I wanted to put it in here. He's getting around on his little 2-wheeled horse. This was a very interesting thing. This is actually the marshal's office, and they have several things that I thought were really fascinating in here. It's a small little thing where you can donate and go in, and here's a really cool 38 star flag from 1877 to 1890. But this is like a little ranger station here, and you can kind of go in and learn a little bit about it for this Cochise County, I believe, for this area. And yeah, I just thought it was really neat, and as well as the pieces that they had in there. So I think that some of my favorite things were that they did keep some of the buildings labeled a little bit what they might have been, even if they were currently stores. And I also really liked that the stores were things that you could actually use, like there was a leather and hat and saddle store. It was just it was a functioning town. Let me put it that way. As touristy as it, some people like, I've heard some people in some other videos complain that it was getting. I didn't really feel like that. Here is the intro to the birdcage. There's the bullet hole in the wall. There's several in the ceiling, as well as there's one in the
There are
bottom.
7 on each side, and
I'll
they
let
are
her
connected
talk.
by that catwalk. Each crib up there is only 4 by 8 with a curtain at the front, sliding door at the back, and a pull-down chair in the middle where ladies would do business. It was $25 for a visit, and only $5 would go to the ladies. $20 went to the house.
Okay, I flipped the phone around. We got some cowboys. They must be in the show because the gunfight thingy is behind me, and there's a cowboy. I don't know if you can see him. Some of these are out of order. He's standing up there on that side of his, on the street. Anyway, I'm not going to do the gunfight thing, but still, kind of cool. All right, I think I found a parking spot, but it's kind of hard to tell. There's no parking signs, but there's a couple signs that have paper ripped off of them. But there's these cute little stores around here, and there's actually oh, you can't see it. I would have to flip the phone around. Hold on. This is super cool. There's like a little museum here. I'm trying to figure out, it looks like I should be able to find some parking really easy. Gunfighter museum there. And I think the old town, the one street that they have still dirt is that way. But, oh, maybe I can park right there. It's so cool to hear all of the birds out here. I don't know if you can hear them. And here's some of the valley, kind of a little bit up here on the hill in Tombstone, one of the hills. I don't know where the little small town stuff is, so I'm still looking for that. Okay, so I just ran into this guy, and he was handing out these pamphlets, dropping them off here at the graveyard. And I guess they now have, like, can go down 100 and so feet into this mine out here, a silver mine. And I think he said that's the number. I think he said that the tickets were like $20 an adult. He says it's really awesome. So cool stuff to do out here. I'm down here for some. Okay, so I did find it. Pretty cool. I did not know, because this is like a graveyard. So call me bad, but I did not know that there's this little thing right there, and there's a gate, and it actually says on that building, tickets. Do you see how it says down there, tickets? So that's interesting. It's the only graveyard I know that you can, and they have it all like wickered off, or whatever you want to call it. I call it wickered, but they all have it all fenced, so you can't even really, I guess, see in there very well. Very interesting. So yeah, it says tickets. So I don't know what that means. I'm in historical Tombstone, and I'm this really cool buildings. Look at this little fire truck. And this is I was looking strip here. It says jail on it, but I don't know what that means. I was actually looking for, I think I took the wrong turn, and we'll see, but the graveyard is in here somewhere, and I'm wondering if that's Bootstrap Hill. There's buildings over there. So I'm gonna mosey around here. It looked like the road is not gonna be fun to get back on. And then I'll see what I can find. There's like deer all over in this town. Did you see them? Now I'm on the other side of the street in different yards all together. He came through these yards right over here, she did. But part of her little pack is over here. This is where they came from. There he is. He's like, where'd you go, man? They're being very careful about coming through town. Look at his little horns. Look at that little guy. Oh, no, he's not so sure about that. He's not so, and it did say before you enter city limits, there's no hunting in here. Because I believe, I'm not sure, but Tombstone's open. Like, you can carry and stuff here, but they want to make sure there's no hunting in here. Here, I'm trying to get him from this side over to, don't know if you can see the size of that yucca that I just passed, but this is a different angle. Like, see, they know what I see. He's like, okay, so she went over, she drove over there. I don't know, that's this person's yard. It's so freaking awesome. So awesome. How's this for some front yard guests? I don't want to get out of my car and spook them. They're like hanging out in this person's yard. They're like, we're safe here. And this is a cool yard too. The got like a massive yucca right over there. It's next to the street. Aren't they cute? Let's see if I can zoom out. Please follow and subscribe if you like this
Hanging out in a person's yard
adventures in material.
here in Tombstone, Arizona. That's pretty cool. Hi, buddy. They're like, uh-oh, we've been seen. That's so cool. I almost drove right by thinking, what? You know, like they weren't real, but obviously they